Hey there， 欢迎到今天的直播，我们真的很开心，你可以来参加今天的 live stream. My name is Gabe. Yeah, I think maybe we should take off our space helmets. Yeah, that's a good idea. Whew! There we go. Guys, we are going to space today. Well, not really. Actually, we do have some fun things we want to talk about, though, that have to do with space. David, do you like space?
I love space.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite places. I haven't been there yet, but
not yet.
Not yet.
One of these days. Well, we have a question for you as we get started. Actually, if you're here joining us for our live stream, tell us your name. Hi, nobody says hi. Thank you. Is that your real name?
Hey, nobody.
Yeah, like, that's a good, fun name. So tell us your name, where you're from, and how you feel about the rain that we are having this week. So far, nobody said hi. Nobody. Tell us how you feel about the rain that we are having this week all around the island. It's not raining right now. 现在没有在下雨，在我们这边，但是可能在你那边有下雨。How do you feel about the rain, David?
I feel great about it.
Yeah?
It means that we will have water to drink later in the year.
You know what? It's very important. Even for a place like Taiwan, we think of it as a tropical island, right? But even we need a lot more rain. But speaking of rain, who can tell us about the rain and the other weather? As we get into our live stream today, which is more about outer space, I wanted to introduce you to a word. 我要介绍一个字给你. It's a word that also means weatherman or weather person.
That's right.
Right? And that word starts with M. It is meteorologist. That's right. So 气象学家, basically anybody you see on TV who is talking about the weather and saying, oh, we might have a storm coming this week, and in the southern part of the island it will be very rainy. That is not only called a weatherman or a weather person, but also a meteorologist.
I like how they stand in front of the blue screen.
Yeah.
And then they have the computer created image there, and they have to look at the real picture on a computer monitor and then point to the right place.
Yeah.
I always thought, man, those guys are really talented. I feel like I would always be pointing to the wrong place.
Yeah, and sometimes they do.
Sometimes they do.
And those are
it's funny.
Yeah, those are on the bloopers. But there's a related word, and maybe you recognize this word even more, and that is the word meteor.
Meteor. Because
that's something that you might see at night if the sky is really clear. We also call that a shooting star. Yeah, so 流星. Now, what do meteorologist and meteor have to do with each other? Actually, I looked this up, David.
Oh.
I like finding out the origins of words. Yeah, meteor, that idea, has to do with being high up off the ground or in a lofty place up there somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So then a meteorologist is talking about the things that happen really high up in the sky, like in the clouds or above the clouds.
Exactly, in the Earth's atmosphere, right? Have you ever seen a shooting star? Or when was the last time you saw a shooting star? Do you remember?
Actually, it was not that long ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Lucky you.
Where was I? I think the last time I was maybe in Hualien. Actually, God bless you, Hualien. Right now, you guys are going through a hard time. But Hualien is one of the places where I have seen lots and lots of stars in the sky. And one night, a few months ago, when I was camping with my family, I saw a shooting star.
It's pretty fun. I mean, it's just awesome experience.
Nobody has something for us.
I know. I was looking at that. I agree with David. We got rain today. It means we will have water to use for later days or later in the year.
That's right.
It is very true. Well, I love looking up into the night sky, and we've got another question for you guys. If you had an opportunity to go to space, where would you go and why? If you are joining us here in the live stream, of course, we'd love for you to answer it in the comments below. If you had an opportunity to go to space, where would you go? Or if you're watching later, please share with us in the comments as well. There are so many options, right? You could go to the moon, you could go to Mars, go to the, just spend some time on the International Space Station. Where would you go in space, David?
Well, yeah, there are an almost unlimited level of options. There's an almost unlimited level, amount of options of places you could go. I personally would like to go on like a tour of Jupiter and its moons.
Wow.
This morning, I read an article or saw a headline about one of Jupiter's moons. It's called Io. And Io has tons of volcanoes. And they found that Io might have a big lake just full of lava.
Wow.
A lake full, imagine 日月潭, but it's all lava. Lava 是什么?
Lava.
溶浆.
Yeah.
谢谢老师.
You know,
溶浆.
it's flowing fire, right?
Yeah.
Actually, Io is my favorite one of Jupiter's moons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Io's your favorite?
Yeah, I mean, I actually, it's one of the only ones I know. I think Europa is another one of his moons.
So there are over 90, but the big ones are Io, Ganymede, Callisto. Yeah.
Maybe Europa's another one.
And Europa. Europa is one. Yeah, it's the four.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Io, Ganymede, Callisto, and Europa.
I feel really proud about myself for knowing a little bit about that, because I feel like David Morton is our in-house expert here when it comes to space.
Well, you have to be a certain kind of nerd to go and learn about space. So it doesn't take much to be a local expert. Right.
Well, hey, but speaking of planets like Jupiter, right? There are some words we wanted to talk about. Verbs that have to do with planets. One is to rotate, another one is to orbit, and another is to revolve. What is the difference between these words? We have a little globe right here. So what does it mean to rotate?
So the Earth right now is rotating, right? That's why we have day and night, because the planet rotates, and that causes the sun to shine on one side and then to shine on the other side as the Earth rotates. But as the Earth rotates, the planet Earth is orbiting the sun.
That's right. So it's rotating on its axis, we would say. This is that imaginary line. But then it's orbiting. That means it is going around the sun. So we would use the word orbit. The word revolve means the same thing, but we use the word around with the word revolve. So the Earth is revolving around the sun, or it is orbiting the sun, just like Io is orbiting Jupiter.
That's right.
Yeah. So, maybe now you know the difference between those words.
Hi, Steve.
Steve is here. Hello, Steve, son.
Hi, Steve, son. Good to see you, man.
Yes.
Greetings from outer space.
Yes. Man, that would be awesome. Today we are getting into the mind of David Morton. That's why I invited you here, David.
Oh.
Because
happy to be here.
Yeah, because he's actually our editor here at Studio Classroom for our magazine, the Studio Classroom magazine, and he also happened to write an article about stargazing, for the May 2024 Studio Classroom magazine. David, it's an excellent article.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I think the layout is really good, so I'm very thankful that we have such talented artists.
Yeah, I mean, they're amazing. And I imagine that with a topic like space, it's really hard for you to contain it within 400 words.
Well, it's pretty much impossible.
Yeah.
We have got a little message from Nobody here.
I love this. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, nobody, you said, I don't want to go anywhere in outer space because I don't want to take a spaceship. I'm afraid that the spaceship might explode on the way.
That is a legitimate concern, Nobody. It is.
It's probably my concern as well. There are too many things that could go wrong traveling into space. And there have been many explosions throughout history.
Yes.
But fewer and fewer, thankfully.
Fewer and fewer, yes.
Right. Yeah. But I did have a question for you, David, because you love space. And I love talking with you about space.
Oh,
and whenever we're on like Pamonghui Yingyu talking about a lesson that has to do with space, I mean, this guy is just a wealth of information. I'm curious, like, why did you get interested in space, or how did you start to develop an interest in space?
Probably because when I was a kid, I really liked Star Wars. It's one of my favorite movies. Yes. And from that, I came to be just really interested in the idea of what might be on other planets. I really like science fiction. And now I continue to love space and stargazing because I find that it's very stress relieving. Yeah, when I have lots of things on my mind or I'm anxious about stuff, sometimes as I'm praying, I'll just kind of look up to the stars that God has made, and I just think about, wow, from one of those stars, you can't even see the Earth. And my problems that I'm having right now are so small compared to this beautiful painting, you know, of stars across the sky. It helps me get perspective about my life and the problems that I'm having, that today I'm having this problem, tomorrow maybe it will be gone.
David, can you see many stars from where you live in Taipei?
From where I live? Not really, but I can see the stars.
You can at least see one.
Well, on a clear night, if I'm on the roof of my apartment, I can see the stars that I talked about in today's...
In the article,
In the
right?
article,
In the article. I have a question for you, though.
Yes.
Where have you had the best view of the stars with the naked eye? So without using a telescope or binoculars, if you're just using your eyes, that's what we call the naked eye. Where has been the best location for you?
Oh, I think it was...
Was it in Hualien like you were talking about?
It was not, actually it was not in Hualien. It was near Taichung.
Oh, okay.
I think it was in... not Jiayi.
Like Hehuanshan or something?
No, not on Hehuanshan, but it was a place in the country, in the mountains, near Taichung. I think just south of Taichung.
Yeah.
I forget which province that is. But it was, I was up on a mountain with my wife. We were taking a trip, and they turned off all the lights at the Minsu so that you could really see the sky. And it was a clear night because you're in the mountains above the clouds. And I looked up and it was just like, wow! I mean, so many stars.
It's spectacular.
It was spectacular.
I think I've only been one place in the world, a place in Maryland called Swallow Falls. And it's just, there's very little light pollution. And where you could see the horizon of the Milky Way galaxy.
Wow.
So we may have a picture of this. In case you've never seen it before, this is basically where you can kind of see where the horizon is in our very own galaxy.
B. Huang likes to hear us talk about space.
Well, dude, dude or dudette.
We can do this all day.
Yeah.
Keep tuning in.
No, space is amazing. But anywhere you can get out and see a lot of stars, it is just a fabulous experience. Nobody says Ali Mountain. Ali Shan is a great place to check out the stars at night as well.
Yes.
You know, you talked about constellations and asterisms in your article. Can you briefly explain the difference? Those are kind of big words, constellation and asterism.
So a constellation is an official pattern of stars that has been recognized by a group of people that sort of decide what are the main constellations. And those are usually based upon really old star charts that were made by the Chinese and the Greeks. An asterism is something like the summer triangle, where each of those stars in the summer triangle, which a lot of people know, is actually the bright star in its own constellation.
So usually asterisms are a small part of a constellation, or could be a small part.
Yeah. Or another way to think about it is that an asterism is sort of something that people casually recognize and sort of group together, whereas a constellation is something that is officially part of a list.
Yeah, okay. And constellation is what we often think of when we think of like 星座 as well.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You know, if you're born in a certain month, and a lot of people, the first question they'll ask me, oh, what is this? 什么星座, right? So that's kind of referring to that pattern of stars in the sky. I have a question for you, David. What is your favorite celestial object? So celestial means anything outside of this world. It has to do with the stars, the planets, outer space. What is your favorite celestial object?
I really like nebulas.
Nebulas.
Yes.
Let's see if I can remember. That is when stars are born?
Yeah, nebulas are like little nurseries where stars are born.
Genius.
And what's really interesting is that nebulas often form as a result of another star dying, exploding, and sending all of its gas out into space. Well, Steve's got something for us.
Yeah, I was just looking at this. I'm glad you mentioned this, Steve, because he talks about the stars that he saw in Osaka, Japan. You just got back from Japan.
I did.
And he says there's a lot more people that come here to make wishes, including me. When you wish upon a star, it doesn't matter where you are. I heard someone say, because that star is so far, it won't come true. That's a joke, of course. We hope all of your wishes come true.
That's right.
But yes, actually, if you guys could share maybe your favorite object in the night sky, like you mentioned a nebula, maybe different constellations, things like that. Okay, how can you tell the difference between a star and a planet? How do you know what you're looking at?
So planets typically move around in the sky more.
Like dancing?
Yeah, they kind of dance. No. Through the year, the night sky does change because the Earth's position around the sun changes. The Earth moves and different parts of the night sky are visible at different times of year. That's why we have things like the summer triangle, which is more visible during summertime. There's also a winter triangle of constellations that are more visible during winter.
And they're colder.
They're colder stars. Planets are typically easy to recognize because, for one thing, they're often very bright, depending on the planet. Jupiter, for example, if you're in the city and there's lots of light and you can only see one bright object in the sky, it's probably Jupiter.
Oh, interesting.
Jupiter is very large, and Jupiter is a planet made completely of gas.
I thought that was the North Star, the brightest star in the sky was...
The North Star actually is not exceptional. It's not particularly bright compared to other stars. Actually, Sirius, Canis Major, or the Dog Star, is one of the brightest stars in the sky.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Sirius.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Sirius. Okay, Sirius is the brightest star.
Yes, I'm Sirius.
You're a star.
I'm a star.
Oh, by the way, we forgot to mention this because we titled today's video, Staring into Space, which means, I know in Chinese we called it, 跟我们一起来放空, but actually staring is more like 发呆, right? You're just kind of staring off somewhere. This has one R, okay? Staring has one R, whereas David here is holding a sign that says?
Starring.
Starring Gabe and Dave. Okay, remember the difference. Starring has two R's, and that is, 我们就是今天的主持人. We are the stars of today's show, right? Of course, you are as well, especially if you're joining us here in the live stream.
You're the real star.
That's right. Nobody, Steve Sun, Bi Huang. Thank you guys. You're the
real stars.
Yeah, starring you guys. Okay, anyway, we're not staring into space, actually. We've been having a great discussion here. I do have another question for you, though. So we talked about how you can recognize planets. We say that stars also kind of twinkle a little more, like they actually, it appears like they're glimmering.
It does.
Right, whereas a planet will have more of a solid color the whole time.
That has more to do with distance.
Okay.
Just to finish that point, the reason why planets move around in their position in the sky more is just because they're closer. Like, for example, if your hand is right here and you move it across your eyes like this, you can tell a big difference between right and left. But if you're on a train and you see a mountain far in the distance, you will see that mountain for a very long time as it slowly moves past.
Oh yeah.
That's because you're very far away from that mountain.
Oh, that's a good way to explain it.
So stars appear to be fixed in the sky, whereas planets, because they're closer, I mean, they're still really far away, but they're closer than most stars. So their position moves more in the night sky as the Earth moves around the sun.
Oh, that's a really good point. And of course, like I said, stars will twinkle. Twinkle is that word we use for stars. If something is giving off its own light, then we would say it's twinkling. But maybe you think of another word, sparkle, and that is when something is reflecting the light of something else. So that's why, like, your necklace will sparkle.
That's right.
Or maybe a disco ball or something like that.
Stars twinkle partly because of the effect of the light coming through the Earth's atmosphere and bouncing off of the water that is part of the sky.
Well, there it is.
Pretty cool, huh?
Friends, we just want to talk about one more thing here, and that's the idea of light pollution, because obviously, I hope you can tell, David and I and everybody joining us here today, you guys love looking at a clear night sky. It's so unfortunate that we have something called light pollution. And that is basically when there are city lights or man-made lights that make it so that you can't really see what's going on up there in the night sky. To close with today, what do you think about this phrase, David? Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars.
That's an interesting phrase because it could be interpreted to mean that you shoot for a goal that's here, but actually you end up achieving something way up there.
Yeah.
Stars are even farther than the moon.
That's right. This is just something that we sometimes say to encourage other people, like, don't have small goals or dreams. No, dream big. Shoot for the moon, because even if you miss that particular goal, it's okay. Your life is now in a direction that is going to be end up in a really great place among the stars.
That's right.
Anything else? Any final thoughts, David?
Oh no, I think we've already spoken long enough. I think they're trying to tell us to wrap it up.
I know, but
we could do this all day.
I love talking. I just wanted to mention to you guys, because we've been having a lot of on the topic of natural phenomenon, we've been having a lot of aftershocks recently, right? After the big earthquake a couple weeks ago. I want to encourage you guys to check out in the description below one of the links we have to our 好想讲英文 channel, where David and another David are talking about earthquakes and the words that you need to know when it comes to earthquakes. Make sure that you check out that video. And thank you guys for joining us today. 谢谢你参加我们今天的直播. We will see you guys next time.
See you later.